Hi everyone, it's Simon Keeling here. It's Sunday the 24th of January. Thanks again for watching. This is your look ahead video. Don't forget, if you want us to send you an email when these forecasts are updated, just send us a blank email to generalweather-subscribe@weatherweb.net and we can add you onto the list. Now, Storm Jonas has been doing its stuff on the eastern coast of the States, as no doubt you've seen in the news reports. These were the snow depths as of 6 o'clock this morning, and you can see the focus for the highest amount of snow there across the northeastern parts of the States, with between 20 and 30 inches of snowfall, so getting up for 2.5 feet of snow in some places. In fact, you can quite clearly see the track of the snow through here, and also the usual amount of snow that covers Canada at this time of year. So certainly some big snow totals there. Now this is quite an interesting one. This is the Northern Hemisphere pressure forecast for the next week from weatheronline.co.uk. It's on the GFS model. And if you're wondering what happens to Storm Jonas, well, here it is off the northeastern coast of the States on Sunday morning. Now just stay with it as I run the sequence through and spot what happens. Here it is coming into the Atlantic. There it is by midday on Monday. Hey, look where it's going, straight into the middle part of the Atlantic, and then it stays as a deep area of low pressure crossing the Atlantic. Oh, and look where it's going to be arriving, middle of the day on Tuesday. Welcome to Jonas. Yes, it's going to fling its way across the Atlantic, but it won't be bringing snow here. It's going to be bringing some very mild temperatures because it's got all this warm water trapped in it coming up from the subtropical areas, and it'll be bringing some heavy periods of rain, particularly to western areas. However, behind it, look, notice that the flow behind it is colder air coming down into the Atlantic on the back of Jonas. So as it clears eastwards, so we're going to be finding that cooler air trying to get through parts of Scotland. And then we find another little bump of milder air coming in towards the end of the week. Another one of those areas of low pressure passing through. This cold air just getting stuck up here constantly, being bumped away from the UK. It's so close, but it just doesn't want to get through because the jet is flowing through here, preventing that colder air getting further southwards. In fact, talking of the jet stream, there's the position of it today. You see it out here in the Atlantic there. Jonas is getting caught up in here. And then by the end of the week, just look what happens straight through the UK. Coming across the Atlantic, straight through the UK, blowing those areas of low pressure across. We've got the colder air just stuck up here. What we want is for the jet to either split and go north and south, or we want it to shift further southwards somewhere down here in order to get the cold air in to drain through the UK. Will it happen? Well, you know, I've been pointing towards this middle part of February period, and certainly on the forecast models, the ECMWF shows a downward trend in temperature during the next 10 days. These are the 850s, 5,000 millibars, starting off very mild the next couple of days, which is, of course, what we've just exactly what we've been experiencing during this weekend. But you notice the trend is generally downwards, getting to near a normal 850 temperatures, you would say, by the time we're getting into the back end of this week. So there's a trend downwards. Of course, that doesn't point to anything particular into the middle parts of February that we've been suggesting, but certainly things cooler again. And then ECMWF doing this for the 1st of February. Now, this is something we need to just keep an eye on, because with the jet stream flowing through here, then what's happening is these areas of low pressure are moving in with the jet, slipping eastwards through the UK. And as they go east, they drag in this colder air. Now, as I've said, the warmer air down here, because the areas of high pressure pumping northwards, preventing this colder air getting too far south. So we need to watch for the slip of that jet. But what the ECMWF is pointing to, and the GEM as well, if I can get that one up for you. There we go, that's the GEM. So GEM, that's forecast for midnight going into the 31st of January. That's ECMWF midnight going to the 1st of February. And actually, they're very similar. They're just 24 hours apart in the timings of when they expect things to happen. But what's interesting here is the GEM puts the low east. It brings in this cold northwesterly, so short-lived hits of cooler weather coming down through the UK. It then builds the ridge out here, But it's interesting that both of them are actually going with that pattern. So the idea that the lows pass east, then they allow an intrusion of colder air, and then the milder air gets in. Now, what tends to happen is that when you're heading into the potential for cooler conditions, if you do get a westerly flow such as we're seeing at the moment, then prior to the cooler conditions arriving, you get this constant hit of a cool day, a mild day, a cool day, a mild day as the areas of low pressure move through. And eventually what tends to happen is that the cold air up towards the north, because of course temperature's still falling up here, this cold air towards the north eventually wins the battle and slips to the south. Now there's absolutely no backup for that at the moment from the models. This is the cluster of the GFS ensemble as far as it goes at the moment, up to the 8th of February, and 50% of them do want to bring in cooler westerly winds by that date, but most of them actually stick with the idea of a milder sort of flow. Yeah, we've got weak areas of high pressure on this one, but generally the strongest suggestion is for cooler westerly winds to prevail. And in fact, on that 372-hour forecast for the 8th of February, the jet is through here. So it has shifted a little bit further south, but not that far south. We need it to be somewhere down here. So it's a situation that we're going to be monitoring. As you know, it's something I've been on about for a while. I'm still going with this sort of 30% chance of something cooler coming through. But prior to that, we've got to get ready for some wet weather ahead through the course of this week. We could be seeing some significant rainfall totals across more western parts of the country this week, with the potential for 100 to 150 millimetres plus across parts of western Scotland and also into western parts of Wales, western England and the west of Ireland. More about that over the next few days. Right, I'm going to leave you with that for now. I think the chart of the day, though, has got to be that one. From the 850 temperatures from the ECMWF, showing this gradual downward trend. Now, note, I'm not saying this is going into a cold spell at all, but I think that downward trend in temperature is certainly an interesting chart that tells the story of the weather pattern over the coming 10 days. Throw the rain in, you've got the complete story there. Okay, I'll leave you with that for now. Don't forget to check out the fast forecast for the details for the next couple of days. But for now, whatever you're doing, thanks again for watching. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at WXWeb. Keep the sun shining and bye for now.